afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, featuring today a 1 versus 1 on Langres. Again, yes indeed, the whole pool of replays currently available is a bit short, so I have to take with what there is. We shall be watching Army Farmer fighting for the Wehrmacht, fighting for the... oh, I don't know... probably the 116th Panzer Division, going up against him shall be Leander, fighting for the Americans, taking on the fight, the good fight, for the 5th Infantry Division. Both players, I'm going to guess, are around level 14 or so, level 13 maybe. So not exactly high level play, but not complete rubbish novice play either. So of course there'll be some interesting good things. There'll also be some things we could perhaps find out that could be done better. Initially we're manufacturing a 3 Pioneer start going in here from Army Farmer, whereas we are seeing a 2 Engineer start from Leander. And yes, Army Farmer here clearly not being completely truthful as to his own true level, and of course that shall always be a threat. So of course when playing Companies, and for that matter Companies, you always assume that the guy you're playing is always somewhat competent around your level and thus an actual threat. And the Email Rifle already out there, of course, that's going to be where the Wehrmacht has a slight disadvantage, at least initially. He's going to be a bit more vulnerable to infantry if Leander pushes his infantry aggressively enough. Of course, if he doesn't, of course, I mean, then Army Farmer can quickly patch up any issues there might be initially with some good troops. In this case, the MG42. Rolling forwards, Pioneers leading the way, while other Pioneers moving up the right and left side. A bit rare that you see the 3 Pioneers start as the Wehrmacht, in particular against Americans. But it does happen. In this case, we do see the Pioneers coming under fire. The MG4 to be able to react swiftly and decisively enough as to suppress the Yankee bastards, who will say be able to overcome some mighty Pioneers of the 116th Panzer Division. There we go, the Pioneer squad is on the run. MG42 moving up there. Apparently not quite moving up schnell enough. There we go, retreating. We will be seeing a Volkswagen squad out second for Army Farmer, and Leander coming out with another squad of Rifle. And the MG42 needs to be a bit careful, don't get too close, Heinz. And the Pioneers definitely need to take up position here to provide some line of sight to ensure that the flanks will not get Yankified and crumbled up. And meanwhile, some Pioneers are going to engage the Engineers over there. So far, decent spread. We are seeing Leander making a great push right into the west side. Might be able to cut off some resources from Army Farmer. That would definitely be nasty, and the Engineers definitely seem to be winning against the Pioneers. In particular, the Pioneers are moving about, trying to seek cover, and there we go. Fritz does go down. Swift German counterattack here finally forces away the remaining Rifleman squad, while the Pioneers again continue to provide line of sight, ensuring that the MG42 won't get any surprises. And the MG42 might in fact take up position in the house then. Volkswagen is quickly advancing on. There you go. Switching a bit of places inside the old house, with another MG42 quickly coming out for Army Farmer. So Army Farmer initially going for a slightly more defensive, static strategy of holding up, perhaps, or at least an awful lot of firepower. We'll of course have to see how that ultimately works out. So far, though, Leander is gaining a good chunk of the map, gaining a lot of the vital points. The high munition is definitely going to pay off for him, in particular if he can get off some good mines. Victory point there falling. In fact, Leander gaining most of the victory points. So far, not really within the purview of Army Farmer to secure, apparently. Second MG42, Pioneers looking to lead that team as well. Volkswagen's moving up there, but they will encounter the Rifle squad. Oh, the Rifle squad is poor on health, which could lead to a victory for the Volkswagens, unless of course they begin to take a point. There go Flame for Engineers moving in. Will there be sufficient support? Apparently enough. Not apparently enough, but apparently not. And meanwhile, Rifle here might run into an MG42, but they quickly bounce away. Volkswagen is also getting pushed away, already down to half health. Nicely done there by Leander, holding back the Wehrmacht. MG42 sits up, but a bit too late and not swiftly enough to actually support the infantry advance. And usually, I mean, a good move is actually to support your infantry with the MG42. And we are going to see a flank going in here. The Rifleman might sneak up there, cutting off the resources there. Nice move by Leander. Flamethrower, though, not quickly following up. Leander right there, in fact, losing the tempo, allowing one Rifleman squad to quickly get decimated, meaning the other squad won't have much to do. We might see the MG42 crew making it into the house, but then again, ooh, this is getting a bit dangerous. Will the Engineers make it into the house? Who will do what? MG42 setting up, trying to start the Rifleman. There we go, getting flanked by the Flamethrower. Flamethrower taking up position in the house, Rifleman following up on them. That's definitely going to be a nasty position right there for Army Farmer and his troops. Fire pouring down on the Volksgrenadiers like highly flammable Rain, I'm not entirely sure how to make a metaphor on that. That makes it somehow sound all lyrical, poetical, and inspired. So instead, I shall not. MG42 sending up here to stop the rifleman squad right there. Another Volkskrieger squad out there. So 2 Volkskrieger, 2 MGs, 3 Pioneers. Definitely an interesting early army composition from Army Farmer. They'll definitely give him some chances for taking territory, although in this case he was not quite able to wield it properly, which allowed Leander to basically sneak about, hit the right spots, and force Army Farmer's troops off the field. So nicely done there by Leander. Quite good use of Americans from an, well, intermediate level player. Quite solid, and yes, mines as well. Excellent, excellent. Not even bothering to initially secure, just mining, so he can secure it if he gets pushed off, then he can just slow down the Wehrmacht. So nicely done, and there we go, flanking another MD42, although he does lose 1 man to the support gunners and the nearby Volksgrenadiers. Oh, BARs pop up as well. Nice timing right there, clearing out the MD42 crew. The Riflemen do take heavy casualties, but he will definitely be slowing down the Army Farmer's advance as he will be forced to recruit that MD42. Nicely done. Oh, the Riflemen needs to move up, come on. Schnell, push up, support. Oh dear, Rifleman squad almost wiped out. Leander slightly fumbled. Oh, and he lost the squad. That is definitely going to hurt him initially much more than the loss of the MD42. Plus, he handed over BAR Leander right there, fumbling a bit. Did not quite get the troops up to support the other squad, which is a bit of a shame. But ultimately, they still did some damage, but could have done more, I think. But a bit too late to do that now. Let us not dwell on the past too much. Just learn from it. We do see that Army Farmer quickly recovers a bit of his composure and moves out again, keeping the forces together, having the MD42 protect flank a bit there against American interlopers. Securing territory over there. A few more mines would have been nice, but still, 1 mine is better than nothing. And there we go, the Volksgrenadier squad, slightly more heavily armed now with the BAR in their hands. World War I weapon from the Americans, although late World War I, a light machine gun slash a concept known as a battle rifle, which basically involved a light machine gun that could be fired on the move for more moving fire support. Mines going down from Army Farmer as well. Again, I'm suspecting he's around the same level as Leander. Definitely not novice stuff to lay down mines like that. Volksgrenadiers moving up there. BARs launching away at the Riflemen, who are also equipped with BARs, but the Volksgrenadiers do have the heavy cover advantage, and the BR definitely adds to the Volksgrenadiers' firepower. Although do like see like we must see a Rifleman squad trying to support the first one. MD42 setting up to cover the flank. That could end up a bit unfortunate for Leander. At the same time, push going up here on the left side, or right side, I mean. Need to sort out left and right. Rifleman here getting suppressed by the MD42, and there we go. Leander spotting that there's nothing covering the flank of the MD42. Nicely deduced. Volksgrenadiers in fact were pushed off there. Volksgrenadiers holding up there, but they are taking some minor losses. Rifleman getting suppressed. Oh, hitting a mine on retreat. Flamethrower engineers getting worried, actually pulling back. Interesting enough, Volksgrenadiers remain here. And the right side was collapsed right there for Army Farmer. Again, he's spreading out his forces a bit too much initially, which is something you have to be very, very careful about the Wehrmacht. I mean, you don't want to split up too far because, again, that immediately gives the advantage to the American. You usually want a smaller, defined area you can hold and then sort of work your way from there. But in this case, Army Farmer is getting a bit too greedy. He thinks he can hold the entire Reich on his own, which he obviously can't. More mines going down there from Leander, although, I mean, I like aggressive mining, but you shouldn't be doing it right in front of your opponent either. That's like, oh, hello there, Hans. I'm just laying down some mines. Yeah, sure, give me a call if you want them detonated as well, so you don't walk into them. I mean, yeah, there's good sportsmanship, and then there's just being daft. And there you go, Volksgrenadiers counter-attacking. Already 10 kills in this squad. This one, not so much. And in fact, retreating while the BAR Volksgrenadiers fight on for the Reich. And get out of there. Leander, though, continuing to push aggressively, constantly, not really taking much time or, you know, waiting for Army Farmer to, you know, get a breather. Kriegbergs, though, going up. That is something Army Farmer could perhaps consider to get out a Grenadier or a half-track to quickly push against Leander with. He would definitely benefit from it. Also, Veterancy. Veterancy up for the support units first. Veterans 1 giving the MD42 definitely more accuracy. Rifleman squad there pushed away. Volksgrenadiers definitely hopefully will be next. MD42 sitting up there might spot the engineers and sort them out in a manner most swift and resolute. And a few more mines from Leander would be nice. There we go. In fact, mining, but in this case, he gets spotted and the crew gets mowed down like weeds. American weeds. And we're shifting over to Leander, who is losing a bit, but still he's got a decent force. He's quick to replace any unit losses. Motor pool is up. Das ist gut. G-point falling, and we're seeing a bunker going down for Army Farmer. That is nicely as well. Likely going to be a medic bunker at this timing. Good. Good. Or should I rather say good? MD-42 curiously placed right there. Might be better to have in the house. A bit of barbed wire here. Have the Volkswagen take the munitions. I mean, he really should be dealing with that. I mean, he's giving Leander an awful lot of munitions, which currently got 200. That's usually not what you want happening. Pack on the way. Pioneers laying down mines themselves with minesweepers. Army Farmer having noticed it, of course. Quick to react and getting a minesweeper. That's good play. I mean, as soon as you see even one mine, you get minesweepers. Trust me, you'd rather want to spend 35 munitions and then see nothing else, rather than constantly losing manpower, having to retreat and heal your troops. Leander trying to make a run for the house, but his troops getting pinned, but there we go. Managed to get in. A bit miraculously, but still managed it. Focus getting caught out there. And there we go, another nice flamethrower flank going in there from Leander, forcing away the MD-42 crew, going to head to Volkswagen right there. The BAR Volksgrenadiers need to consider getting the hell out of there. Getting shot at quite viciously. Flamethrower punishment. Oh, mine went off! Oh, Army Farmer's mine went off, almost wiping out the Rifleman squad. Nasty stuff, and definitely well done right there. Medic bunker up. Looks like we're already seeing medics getting... No, that's a Pioneer. Never mind then. Though it's not a bad idea, of course, to shoot down the medics, so they can't, your opponent can't get much out of the medic bunker. And there we go. Fritz getting carried back. Volkswagen's retreating back there as well. Troops reinforcing. Armored car finally on the way for Leander. About bleeding time. Mortar up for Army Farmer, getting himself a Granatenwerfer. 2 kills already. Bunker. Oh, MD getting into the bunker just as it's called in, so he can't really leave it, but he might risk getting killed as the bunker collapses. Rather than quickly come out of fire from the MD-42 veterans 1. Medic gets killed by the artillery strike. Volkswagen's doing what they can. And the barrage stops just in the nick of time. The bunker is ready to collapse. And any wounded inside there are covered in concrete dust. And bits of the medics from outside. For the Farland pops up, so he has gone for the defensive doctrine. And another artillery strike. He needs to get that MD-42 out of the bunker right now and retreat it. He will not withstand another barrage. And oh dear, bunker went down. We might see the Pioneers get out down as well. No, looks like one Pioneer managed to retreat. The utter disaster that is the artillery strike. Very close right there, could have been done better. Armored car out, but oh, Leander got a bit too greedy there with the tail. Of course, he got that, all of that, but at the same time, that rather means his armored car is incredibly weak since it has no armored skirts. Although, again, had this been Company 2, of course, the armored car would also been incredibly much cheaper, and of course, thus not a huge loss if it was sent in. And again, that's rather one of the things I actually like about Company 2. I mean, you do get cheaper light vehicles, which then rather reflect their expendability and the fact that they're not tanks. And can actually be very quickly lost. The Volkswagen's pushing in. Another squad might get into the house above. Really setting up a strong position. Nay, yes indeed, but a bit too late. So it took their time to get into the house. Die Häuser. And counterattack going in from Leander. Leander's continuing through lead, full assault attack from several angles. Armored skirts finally going up. He getting a supplied upgrade. That's good. That's actually quite good. Pioneers pushed away. And also note how Leander constantly attacks from different angles. Again, it's not just, head-on attacks, banging his head into a wall, hoping to get the wall to yield as more blood keeps, appearing on Leander's forehead out of sympathy. I mean, no. He's constantly trying to attack, constantly trying to find the weakest spot where he can do the most damage, and that way, slowly but surely drain Army Farmer of life and will to succeed. But we do see that Army Farmer at the same time is slightly more toughening up his front line. He's being a bit more solid. He's making less mistakes. He's getting a grip on things. And resistance is beginning to toughen up, which is definitely also going to mean it's going to be harder for Leander now to really do some damage to the Wehrmacht. But not impossible, as he did get another kill. Somewhere likely to be some Pioneers who met their demise at the end of a BAR and an M1 Garand. And of course, that's one of the interesting differences there was between the American and German army, not just the fact that an American division was much larger than a German division. Not that it actually had a lot more combat troops, but it had a lot more supply troops. I mean, they had huge supply trains, those Americans. Veterans too, by the way, for the Army Farmers Infantry, good, but it was also rather how they sort of viewed infantry combat, how their doctrine viewed it, and rather the Americans focused on the rifle. I mean, of course, they had the semi-automatic M1 Garand, they had the M1 carbine as well, for, well, basically taking over a pistol, because the Americans rather realized that, you know, perhaps giving people a semi-automatic rifle rather than a pistol for self-defense is going to mean they're less likely shooting themselves in the foot and killing themselves. But again, there was this sort of difference, whereas the Germans rather focused on the machine gun, which rather, again, is why the Americans for World War II largely relied on World War I era machine guns, whereas the Germans relied on a World War I era rifle, and then vice versa with the MGs. They had much more modern machine guns, whereas the Americans had much more modern rifles. Of course, the Germans and, of course, the Americans were later on rather updating the other part, but never quite got as good as the other bit, and, well, nothing to do about that, you know, just carry on, be a good soldier, and shoot the enemy bastard. I mean, again, always assume that your opponent is a lying bastard until you beat him. It rather tends to work out the best, less disappointment that way. Volksgrenadier again, we are seeing Army Farm again now actually working with this Volksgrenadiers in tandem. I mean, again, that is when Volksgrenadiers work the best, when they're working, you know, in coordination with each other, some other unit. They're more of, you know, again, of a squad coordination, whereas Riflemen, they do work a bit better, you know, more independently with a lot less, of course, support. But again, they also work nicely when you can support each other. Rifle squad here taking nasty losses. Volksgrenadier squad down. He could have considered, you know, throwing down a medic pack. Also note here, nice man there. Other squad pulling back. Oh, Gott im Himmel! A direct artillery strike took out the squad right away. Oh, Gott im Himmel. Oh, and a direct hit on the medic as well. That's just terrible. But it is also one of the reasons, I think, why the Germans, you know, medic bunker is the sort of thing that rather gives Grenadiers back. It's because, as the German play again, you do have a higher risk of basically losing a squad any time. And again, that's also why, for example, Veterans who rather works for the Germans, as it does. Again, you can very easily lose an entire squad without much to do. And can, for example, in that point in case, gone. I mean, he lost a squad with a BAR, Veterans too. One shot, gone. There was nothing to do about it. And again, if the Germans were to operate with something a bit more similar to America in terms of veterans and medic stations, I mean, that would rather require that the American artillery then became a lot less impressive in some ways. Again, that's what you call balance. I mean, it's not just the obvious things, it's also, you know, balancing things, you know, most people perhaps don't, you know, consider so relevant. Anyways, Volksgrenadier is now equipped with an MP40 and out right there. Technically, the Volksgrenadiers were not equipped like that very heavily with its submachine guns. That was rather more a Russian thing. The Germans did do it, but largely more for specialized, I think, assault troops, and otherwise, well, basically only in case of the Volksgrenadiers for 1944 late, when they couldn't get them with all the assault rifles they were supposed to have. I mean, basically they were, in actuality, supposed to be equipped with fully assault rifles for some of the squads, where others were supposed to be equipped with rather heavy machine guns. Fun fact there. Artillery going, oh, nice hit on the mortar. That's what you call counter-artillery. And then another artillery strike going in. Leander just calling in a carpet of artillery, just bombarding Army Farmers' position, making it very difficult for Army Farmers to actually hold anything. We just see MG-40s go down all the way in the squad here, getting torn up in the middle of the road. Mines going off, my God. And we're seeing that Army Farmers actually gone straight for a Panzer command, so we're likely going to see some Panzers. At the same time, though, Leander's going for a tank depot himself. This is definitely a bit of a development. Right now, Volksgrenadiers rushing straight at Leander's Riflemen, tearing through them. MG-42 stolen away right from beneath the noses of the Wehrmacht. Rifleman squad here getting suppressed and murdered by the MG-42 runaway at the same time, pushing up in the left flank. Again, nice harassment. Another medic bunker up for Army Farm, of course. Nice persistency there, nice consistency. I mean, a lot of players do have a slight flaw here, and sometimes saying, I mean, I'm not saying you should always do it, but again, sometimes, oh dear, I lost one thing, I should never ever build it again, because clearly it's rubbish, instead of, you know, saying, perhaps I should try it slightly different and see if that results in something better. Or in some case, you know, just, you know, a little less obvious. So again, nice to see Army Farm, you know, try again with the medic bunker, and again, a medic bunker is usually the thing that can pay off, though considering with all the artillery, of course, there's going to be a lot less wounded about. And a Sherman on the way for Leander. He's definitely calling in some of that armor. Supplied upgrade 1. That is good. That is good, Leander. But let's go head back to Army Farmer. Of course, that's gone for the defensive doctrine. The 116th Panzer Division in this case is fighting on the defensive. Panzer Grenadier Battalion doing most of the work. One of the truck-borne ones. Not Siege Panzer Grenadier Battalion. And there we go, flamethrowers. Oh, mine going down. Well, oh no! Leander did not apparently notice it. Grenadiers right nearby. Perhaps should consider stopping, taking the... Oh, engineers walk right away. Bit of a miss right there by Army Farmer. And we're seeing a full push up the center right here. Leander feeling strength full and aggressive and simply just pushing up here. Grenadiers fighting against the riflemen. Veterans and 2 Grenadiers and heavy covers riflemen. But there we go. Nicely done by Leander, using his suppressive ability to actually suppress the Grenadiers. Well done, getting the upper hand. Greatly done. I mean, I got a lot of players don't necessarily use it. Right here, though, Leander does make a bit of a blunder and actually sending in this German out there. And he knew the pack was right about here. I mean, his armored car took hits from it. I think the armored car went down like a piece of toy being hit at by an anti-tank. And oh, not looking good there for the Sherman. So I think that was a bit of a repeated mistake, in fact, from Leander. That's a bit unfortunate, to be honest. 2 rifle squad coming up here, trying to get the pack, coming under fire from the MD-42 here. 9 killed, and another artillery strike. I mean, really, that man is full of artillery. And of course, that was one of the things the Americans were really good at. They were really good at coordinating all of the artillery, which was actually one of the weaknesses of the German army, which did not really have a very flexible artillery structure. I mean, in a sense, a German division itself would have a lot more artillery organically than, for example, an American division at, for example, different levels. But the problem was, on the other hand, they couldn't coordinate all that artillery beyond the division. I mean, if they had to coordinate, for example, artillery from several divisions, they rather tended to run into a problem and tended to need to form a special artillery commando, which tended to be a bit more of a tricky thing. So, I mean, the Germans were not so strong artillery-wise. And they couldn't really make it up like the Russians did, because the Russians, for example, were pretty rubbish when it came to using artillery, tactically. And there we go, Sherman actually went down to the mortar. Guten Arbeit, Heinz. But what the Russians, lacked in skill, they tended to make up for in numbers. Really big numbers. So, a bit of fun there, a bit of differences in artillery and infantry doctrine. And in that sense, I mean, the Russians had some of the same ideas, in fact, as the Americans when it came to weapons. The problem was they never really got around to, really fully implementing it with their semi-automatics, and so had to rely on the also World War I rifle, the Mosin Nagants. So, again, bit of fun there, bit of history, for those of you who fancy it. Leander central assault, though, largely did not work out. We did see that the Army Farmer was able to hold up a defense, and again, the Sherman, like the armored car, was a bit wasted again. Leander, in this case, seemingly forgetting all about the pack, which is a definite shame, rather wasting a Sherman tank. Oh, we do see another Sherman out, so Leander not to be fully ashamed about that, and say, try again, but hopefully a bit better. Of course, there's a slight problem now for Army Farmer, is that he's got no pack at the moment. He's got no anti-tank weapons. Not even eine kleines Panzerschreck. Although we do see an observation post right here, so that's if we're going to have munitions. More artillery going in. German infantry going to have to try and not get hit. Pack did regroup, but this time the Sherman might be able to outflank it. Fight it. There we go. The pack simply cannot react fast enough. Curse you, hiccups. Sherman, though, needs to keep moving. Oh, Leander, you're stopping up. And there we go, the Grenadiers getting a Panzerschreck. And I also get the impression that Army Farmer is actually setting up for a Panzer IV. That's a good move, particularly since we know that Leander's using armor, but he's also got infantry. In that case, the Panzer IV is a nice, mix. More solid than an Ostwind, but can also deal with the armor. The Panzer. Force is getting pushed away there. Not long until he can get the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Height of the Nibelung there. And there we go, Panzerschreck connecting with the Sherman. Oh, recruiting the Careful though, you could lose an entire Grenadier squad right there. That would definitely be a shame. Artillery knocking out the Kriegbergs, a bit of a loss there, but at the same time, Panzerkampfwagen is on the way. Sherman needs to get out of there. Just barely managed to save itself behind the hedgerows. Needs to get away, far away from the front line. Army Farmer is still a bit contained, but ultimately he's holding on like a true fighter. But again, he needs to coordinate his infantry a bit better, I think. And hold up his front line a bit better. But still, some nice harassment going up there. Cutting off this point before going for this one. Also managed to circumvent then a mine there, of course, unintentionally. That was late right there. Grenadier going over from the rifle, only killing one. Pioneers pushing in. Rifle being held up by an MD-42. Pioneers moving in. Panzer 4 almost ready. Things looking a bit desperate despite having 3 Grenadier squads. And several Pioneers with Flammenwerfern. And another artillery strike wiping out another unit. 2 Pioneer squads in fact went out. Pack went down. MD-42 retreating. Grenadiers, riflemen flanking in. Panzer 4 ready. Might want to get Veterans 1. We also see the 280mm rocket barrage being prepared. The heaviest of Nebelwerfers, in fact. I believe. Oh, I think they actually had larger rockets. They really had some big Nebelwerfers. I mean, the one we see in Company of Heroes used is actually the smallest of the Nebelwerfers. I believe they had some under 5. This large rocket even bigger ones. So, fun fact there about Nebelwerfers as well. Rather than getting suppressed. Quick retreating Grenadiers counter-attacking there. Panzer 4 needs to get moving. I would also definitely recommend that Army Farmer gets Veteran 1 forward as soon as possible. Schnell, schnell. Mach schnell mit die Veterans hier. Sherman moving over here. Another Sherman out. So Leander being quite confident in his American armor. And looks like we are seeing Army Farmer. He might be making a rush here for this howitzer because Leander made a slight poor placement of it. It's actually reasonably easy accessible by the opponent. Panzer 4 gets a nice hit. Grenadier squad stops him. The Panzer Grenadiers continue. Could you know, he doesn't even need to make a full assault. He can just stand here, then call in the heavy rocket barrels in a few minutes. But no, he's making the assault. He's rushing in this Panzer 4. Oh! And looks like Leander might be ready to move in the Shermans from the rear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's a bit of a shame. Now he has it, and now he's... Then he... Oh dear, that's a huge blunder right there from Army Farmer. I'm sorry, but it truly was. I mean, he almost had it, then he called in the barrage when he could have just done that from the beginning. At the same time, his Panzer 4 is without support. It's going to have to pull back into friendly territory. Several Shermans moving into it from the flank. We like going to see sticky bombs as well. And, I mean, that is just not a good handling of the situation right there by Army Farmer. That was quite sad. And a bit of a waste of the Panzer. I mean, he got some kills, but he could have done so much more. And, of course, he did some damage to the buildings, but then he didn't knock it out. So, ultimately, this was just a mess in so many ways. And definitely not too well handled by Army Farmer, I'm sorry to say so. Of course, he got the howitzer, but he lost a lot otherwise. So, I mean, didn't lose that Panzer 4, well, for that matter, didn't waste it. I think he would have been much better suited to holding on the Americans, as we do see Leander then, of course, quickly pushing up in the wake of the Panzer 4's demise with the Shermans. Although, need to get the other one to follow up. Follow up, man. Don't just send in a Sherman on its own. They are not Panzers. Sherman out of control, bit of a shame. And kaput. Going for the point there. Leander running into a bit of a problem again. He seems to have a bit of a problem, fully using the Sherman, not quite seemingly knowing how to use them again. Use them in numbers, use them with infantry support, don't send them on their own. Never send them in on their own. So, Leander is a bit wasting his armor, which is a bit unfortunate. In that sense, he's got something in common with Army Farmer. Uspin's on the way, lots of Pioneers quickly being rushed out. And still, it might also have benefited with a bit of armor veterans for his Panzer 4. I don't think he did get that, which is also a definite shame. But things are somewhat stabilizing themselves at this very moment. Preparing. holding out. And all that. More Panzer strikes for Army Farmer's troops. And let's head over to the mid-game analysis. So, we have Army Farmer situation. I mean, he's managed to stabilize the front. He's holding some of the victory points, but he's obviously not without his issues. He's lost a Panzer IV a bit sensitive. He's got some decent infantry. That's a positive. He's getting another medic bunker likely. That's a positive. Austrian Flak Panzer. I would still prefer proper Panzer IV, but could still do alright. But he needs, he needs to push on. He needs to be a bit more aggressive. He needs to move up here and secure this area, I think. But definitely put Mr. Leander under some pressure, in particular since he's actually setting up another howitzer. So in that sense, being closer to the opponent's base would also benefit in that regards. Just to suggest, and of course Panzer IV, perhaps some Knights Cross soldiers would benefit him, and some proper Panzer veterans, perhaps also veterans too for support units, so he can use his pioneers a bit more aggressively once they get elite armor. That would be a suggestion. Then of course switching over to Leander, who is slightly on the back foot now. He's got us shown, of course, but he's having a problem, fully getting the best out of it, which is a bit of a shame. But I imagine he'll get around. Of course, got infantry, could get them an off-map combat group, pushing in larger numbers. Though again, he should also begin again trying to hit the flanks, hit the weaker sides, do some damage there, and continue harassment. And of course, mines would also not be a bad idea. Of course, the howitzer will also pay off, but he needs to protect them better. I mean, this far in, of course, he might want to actually mine these ways, because it's not uncommon to see an opponent rush straight into a base and a suicide rush to basically get it. So in that sense, mining the approaches can absolutely slow down, even not stop an attacker on in a decidedly suicidal mission to get the howitzers. Try and remember that for yourself. Otherwise, Leander needs to build up a force, and he needs, again, to try and split up once more Army Farmer's forces, and that way destroy them in smaller detail, try to spread them out, constantly have them moving, and then strike. But let us return to the fight. Mortar continues to fire away. Sherman getting blasted with Panzer X, pulling away. No grenades though from Leander. He could consider also that and lob one in here. That might be it. But by then it might be too late, of course. Well, in this case, he makes the wise decision and pulls away, because otherwise he'd probably lose the fight. Oh, artillery going in on the house, and we do quickly see the grenadiers evacuating the premises. That was in the nick of time. The house took a catastrophic hit, causing a total collapse, and the grenadiers just moments before that retreat. Oh, and a unit goes down for Leander. He loses a MG to that mortar, by the looks of it. Or perhaps the Austrian as well, which is now tearing through Leander's troops with its 37mm flak cannon. Sherman raining down death upon the grenadiers right there, without a Panzergrenadier pioneers moving in towards the center. Pack is down, so that's actually very bad news for Army Farmer. He is without defenses against Leander's armor, and he's actually making a straight run. He might be going for it, but he probably should be knowing where the howitzer is, in which case he should just take the path of there. Or perhaps I am assuming too much about Army Farmer's knowledge. Although he looks to be trying to take out that barracks. That definitely paid off. And now he's actually trying to knock out the trias, and I think that's less good. I think he should just be trying to kill as many troops then as possible. So that's a bit of a wasted Austrian again. Army Farmer does seem to get a bit too reckless with his armor and losing them in a slightly unfortunate way. He's not really ultimately gaining that much as he possibly could have had to utilize them better. So I'm being always sad to see a player never reach his true potential with the armor he's utilizing. And there we go, Howards are firing away again. Likely going to get the grenadiers here, trying to secure the central victory point, though so far blowing up the road. More on the way from the Panzer Command. Quiet, rifle moving in, thinking they can catch a few pioneers on their own. The grenadiers counter-attacking proved them wrong with German steel. Panzergrenadiers flying. Sadly, no grenades. That would have been nice, I think, you know, in digging out Leander from his position. There we go, though. A bit too late, I'm afraid. And the smaller force moving over here, going to harass, going to cover each other as well, apparently. We do see that Army Farmer is for once actually getting a nice chunk of the map. And there we go, veterans, free rifleman up for Leander. Definitely going to be a nightmare right there for Army Farmer. Looks like Army Farmer might be hoping for off-map combat group, but he's lacking their command points because, again, Leander's Army Farmer's been able to secure as much of the map as possible. I mean, of course, there's not enough population for it at the time being, which is definitely unfortunate. Another Panzer IV out, that is good, but still no veterans who won. Again, as the Germans, you'd always get veterans who won for your Panzers. And the Panzer IV rolls forwards, coming under fire from the Sherman rifle. Oh, sticky bomb there again. The Panzer IV being too reckless with it. In this case, he might be able to save it on this advantage because out and open, they're easy targets for the Sherman, and the Sherman scores a nice kill. You might even see the Howitzer finding way very soon. Not opting for an off-map combat group, instead calling in some Rangers to lead the way out of the Valley of Woe and the German darkness. Do see the Panzer IV coming under fire from the bazookas, trying to flank it, of course. And he might so succeed thanks to the power fire up. Sticky bombs going on right there. Not further worsening off the situation of the Panzer IV's engine, but there we go. Oh, bazooka failed to penetrate. Second one did though, and that Panzer IV is likely to go down, but the Rangers themselves are very low on health. They need to get out of there before the Panzer IV finishes them off. Artillery going in. Not entirely sure what the target is. Looks to be the mortar once more. Target for American artillery. And the sticky bomb goes off. Veterans flee. That's going to be the end of the Panzer. Oh, damn close. I would have thought that would have been the end, but apparently not. Really needs some veterans who won for his Panzers. Gott im Himmel. Schnell, schnell, Army Farmer. Sherman quickly rolls in, might try to finish off that Panzerkampfwagen, that crap Panzer. Union Rifleman holding up here against the Grenadiers with a BAR. Oh, the Panzer IV's out of control. The Grenadiers to quickly push off, but it might be too late. The Sherman will escape, of course, thanks to Veterans 1 increasing its speed ever so nicely. And Rifleman moving in. Oh, actually didn't get the mortar. That's... Oh. Nicely done there by Army Farmer, preserving his mortar. Sherman might want to pull back though. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Suffering catastrophic damage. Could go down to another barrage, another volley from the Grenadiers. Sherman just needs to keep on moving. No. Fails to do so and is knocked out of control. Rifleman moving up there, but coming under fire from the Germans. Quick retreats. More to continue. But it looks like the Grenadiers continuing their mission. They have spotted a target of opportunity. That is the Howitzer. That is going to be painful for Leander. And we see another 280mm rocket barrage called in to finish off the job. Will it hit? And there we go. The Howitzer goes down. Shattered by the heavy German rockets. A blow to Leander that will hurt. And looks like some more armor on the way from the Panzer Command. What could be another Panzer IV, just as long as you get some veterans. Also, a bit of a mistake here by Leander, or at least a bit of an Army Farmer. I mean, a bit of a missed opportunity, but you know, he could salvage the tanks right here for munitions. I'd say that's a definite shame and a definitely not optimal. Off-map combat group arriving with a tank destroyer, an armored car, rifleman, and an anti-tank gun. Moving over to deal with the fuel point. Advancing up as many points as possible. MG-40 holding up here behind the wreckage of the Sherman. Medic bunker getting constantly repaired by pioneers. Greyhound and such need to be careful though. Lots of Grenadiers with Panzerschrecks. Oh, tank destroyer hits a mine. Damage. Engine right in front of the Grenadiers. That is definitely bad news for the crew. They shall likely not be able to play the piano again, if in fact, for that matter, do anything ever again. Greyhound takes a Panzer strike shot. Rifleman holding up the rifle, or MG holding up the rifleman, doing some nasty damage. Armored car coming under intense. No, the Grenadiers seem to be ignoring it. More intently occupied with the rifleman. There's other rifleman counter-attack from the right. Another Panzer strike connects, but the armored car is still standing. And the Grenadiers get suppressed. Nice. I think that would be some suppressive fire from the rifleman. And again, just Leander conducting an assault from several angles, gaining another veteran-free rifleman squad. The mortar right there is in dire trouble. We see for the fatherland popping up, increasing their toughness, and making them that much harder for Leander's troops to deal with. Pioneers rushing in, now veteran D2 as well. MU-42 holding up the bunker. Pioneers popping into it. Grenades going off. Rifleman squad needs to get out of there. Mortar, though, is destroyed. Or at least the crew is. I'll be unfortunate. Now Flaps seems intent on slightly buggering up, or more likely my hard drive. Which is a bit unfortunate. So my apologies for the disruption caused by this. Sometimes it just gets rubbish like this for not much good reason. Riflemen holding up, they're going to just quickly counter-attacking. They'll definitely need veteran infantry if they want even a decent chance against these veteran infantry riflemen. As the BARs, of course, will get all the veteran infantry bonus as well, and that includes 50% more damage. And there we go, the Grenadiers simply just got wiped out. No better way to put it. Squad barely makes it out of there alive. In fact, only one man makes it out of there alive, which I'm pretty sure does not cover the full squad. Desperately crewing the mortar with a Pioneer squad. Panzergrenadier 5 out, a Panther. Tank destroyer actually makes it out of there. Interesting enough, Army Farmer does not feel too confident to hunt them down with his Panther. Let's go look at Army Farmer. As we do see Leander's vehicles and such making their way back, but Army Farmer's now definitely dominating the map. You definitely should consider beginning to mine things again, the salvaging resources, reinforcing, reforming, and fortifying the front lines. More particularly the points about the victory points really should be held well by Army Farmer. Either that, or he needs to begin, attacking more aggressively. What he should not be doing is just sending a few units without much support and then calling that an attack. Rifleman dispatched with haste by a shot from a Panther. Other squad taking up position in the house nearby. Leander is in a bit of trouble now. Again, the lack of mines, I imagine, did not quite help. And again, the rather wasted Shermans definitely did not either. With regards to veterans with free riflemen now, so of course he might have some good chances. Knights cross soldiers as well, and we do. No, I thought that might have been an house going up, but that's actually just the tank destroyer there being set up. House getting mortared, getting grenaded, blitz grenades, in fact. Stunning and wounding the crew inside, though they do manage to get out. German assault pushes out the center again. Leander is in dire straits. He's going to have some definite issues in holding up against this German storm of troops. Flamethrowers adding in, veterans too. They're making them hard to see. Oh, Grenadiers squatting down the veterans free riflemen, really proving their worth, their value. Again, veterans free riflemen should never, ever be underestimated. And they've got another Grenadier squad going down. That is just terrible for Army Farmer. Panther taking a direct hit from the tank destroyer and the anti-tank gun, though. Quickly pulling it back, not wanting to use. And finally, veterans won for Army Farmer's Panthers. I mean, that's about bleeding damn time, but we do see the tank destroyer risking getting knocked out. Tank destroyer takes a direct hit from the Panzer strike. Looking very, very unfortunate for Leander. He's back into his base with a back to the wall. Armored car close to going down. Panther rolling forwards. Panther takes another hit, but that tank destroyer needs to get out of there. And will Army Farmer rise to it? And oh, we might see the anti-tank quickly recruit and might. No, too slow, too slow. Bit of a shame, a few armor piercing rounds might really been able to do a great number on that Panther. But we do see that Army Farmer's taking a bit of a beating, although we do see veterancy free for his infantry now. We of course also see that he has Knights Cross to supplement his Grenadiers. And again, my apologies for the technical difficulty. Panther pulling back. Army Farmer definitely doing the right thing there. Going to repair it safely away from the front line. Reinforcing from the nearby medic bunker. Though we need something then to man the front line, otherwise, I mean, where he pulls back, the Panther's going to be the front line. And then it's rather all for naught. Do see Leander conducting some aggressive work there on the right side. He's also putting it on the left side. Leander's not sitting back. He's not sitting on the laurels. Nor is he taking it easy. That is good. Keep up the aggression. Keep up the pressure. Don't give your German opponent a break. Just because he broke your back for a bit. Then it's counter-attack, and we're seeing another Knights Cross-Soldier squad out for Army Farmer. Really gave him a huge infantry force. Panzer strike for the Grenadiers. Continuing equipping a lot with them. And catching the two Grenadier squads with the veterans of free troops. And we're also seeing the tanks quickly rolling out on the west flank. Not entirely sure what's hoping there. And there we go. We do see how it's up further in. Third artillery piece. Further back. Going to make it harder for his opponent to reach it. Definitely not a bad idea. And we are seeing Army Farmer basically massing up his troops now. That is going to make it easier for the Howitzers to actually have a chance of hitting them. Also repairing the machine gun emplacement. That is good. Oh! I hope he shoots there. That would definitely be a nice target. I hear the roar of the guns. Where does it land? Oh! So close really getting a lot of troops. Rifleman dropping a BAR. And oh dear, that was not quite working. But there we go, another Veterans of 3 squad. For Leander needs retreated though, if he wanted to be a Veterans Death squad. And looks like we are going to see Army Farmer realizing the threat and just going to launch a full-out assault now that he has the advantage. And Tatanka though opens up on the Panther. Oh no, armor-piercing rounds though, continuing forgetting about that. And Tatanka trying to make it back to safety, but might not succeed as German infantry bars the way with guns and valor. And there we go, making a rush for the machine gun emplacement, but can't quite make it. The machine gun place cross been repaired. There we go, Grenadiers quickly getting suppressed. Panther moves in, tank destroyer that could move in and hit them in the rear. In the rear, and oh, sticky bomb! Sticky bomb! Sticky bomb goes off on the Panther. Rifleman, oh, 2 veterans are free. If they get off sticky bombs, that's definitely going to hurt the Panther as well. Tank destroyer moving in, getting off a nice shot there. Although they do quick commander fire from the veterans 3 nuts across, the veterans 3 rifleman will definitely have the advantage. There we go, lots of sticky bombs. Immobilizing, damaging the engine as well. Knights Cross getting focused, and there we go, the tank destroyer knocked out the Panther, gaining veterans in the process. And that's definitely a huge loss for Army Farmer. Leaving him only with an Ostwind flak Panzer, which is definitely not going to cut it quite as much. And of course, 4 infantry squads, he did lose 1 squad of Knights Cross holders, so some rather unpleasant losses inflicted right there on Army Farmer. He was a bit too confident and a bit too reckless. His troops got too quickly split out, and he didn't get the howitzer either. Now we do see the medic bank coming under fire. We do see a smaller push going in towards the west. They're a bit cautious. Apparently Army Farmer's a bit worried that his troops will be ambushed. Still no veteran 2 for the armor. Still a definite missing out there. Where do you want us? Martin moving up. And, ooh, trying to protect that victory point, does so nicely, blowing up the pioneers to smithereens. Trying again. And my apologies for the issues with recording. Just bad parts of the hard drive, which rather causes the whole thing to sort of slow down and have to pause the whole thing, wait a bit, and then try again. It's a bit tiresome, I'll admit. We are seeing the Grenadiers here pushing off the riflemen, doing so nicely. Doing so nicely. That looks like a full assault again. Might try to get that howitzer. Tank just forcing away the Ostwind. Nicely done there, of course. We might see another attempt at a heavy rocket barrage. We also might see the tank there getting wiped out by the Panzergrenadier. We're also seeing the veterans of the riflemen right nearby. Still no grenades, but of course he's got no barracks, so he can't get it without building it. And there we go, artillery strike. But Army Farmer, assuming that this time as well, but it isn't. Instead, it has been safely placed away, meaning the rocket barrage can't actually touch the howitzer. It is safely distanced, and instead Army Farmer does not get it. And that is actually then largely a wasted rocket barrage, as the howitzer still firing, and all he lost was machine gun emplacement. Tank destroyer rolling about. Ostwind could get knocked out by it. Apparently, Leander does not quite seem so intent on doing so. Pioneers here fighting versus the Engineers. The Pioneers veterans will definitely win over the Engineers, though. No mistakes should be made there. Heavily damaged. Tank destroyer. Will he get the Ostwind? Will he be able to destroy what little armor Army Farmer has left? Apparently not. We are losing ground. And Army Farmer counter-attacking once more. Leander's tank destroyer meandering out of there. The Ostwind sadly not knocked out of commission, and the Pioneers are swiftly able to sort it out. Things are getting a bit tense right now here. Things are a bit close, as Army Farmer has been able to really knock out a lot of Leander's stuff. He's still got some of the... And Leander's finding himself struggling a bit with Army Farmer's forces, which is not good. Rangers pushing in with submachine guns, getting grenaded and getting stunned, and getting dealt with quite nicely by the Knights Cross soldiers. Rather than need to get close and help, might even fire some suppressive fire. They should have done that much sooner. In fact, Leander right here ended up losing quite a few Rangers a bit pointlessly. But we do see the Knights Cross Soldier squad completely wiped out. Another one immediately rushes in here. Would definitely be a good time to get suppressive fire off. And just quickly dropping them. And it is retreating right there. The howitzer still standing. MG42 having turned about 7 kills. Stretching to the rifle get pushed off. Rangers here, they need to get out of there because the Knights Cross will definitely win this. The Knights Cross have an advantage against Rangers with their elite armor, since their assault rifles ignore the damage reducing benefits of elite armor. One of the, in fact, the only infantry weapon that does is the Sturmgewehr, which also applies to stormtroopers. So if you're dealing with, you know, a lot of Rangers or airborne, I mean, then assault rifles from either Knights Cross soldiers or stormtroopers can make short work of them. Or Panzergrenadiers, I suppose. If you're playing the Panzer Elite. Howitzer scoring another kill. Looks like another attempt by Army Farmer to make a direct move up here against that howitzer, though we need to be careful. Just losing a lot of things right there. The howitzer continuing to prove its worth. Another tank destroyer on the way for Leander. And actually now he is mining, trying to protect himself against a rush directly at his howitzer. A bit belated, but, you know, finally doing it nonetheless is good. And doing so quite nicely with a nice little dense belt of mines and all driving in there for that matter. Actually using the terrain and his buildings to, you know, create some nice funnels for that. So, good move right there by Leander. Continue finding over the victory points as they do go down for Leander and the 5th Infantry. Osman moves in, grenade on the riflemen. Veterans are free, they need to get out there. We do swiftly see a retreat. Still only veterans one for the German tanks. Knights Cross holding out from the building. Ready to unleash Knights Cross holder fire. If those damn Americans would get in range. Tank destroyer tried to do a bit there, but did not quite succeed. And the M10 was also the real first American tank destroyer that wasn't just a Jeep one. Half-track strapped on with an anti-tank gun. More artillery going against the bunker with an MG in it. Quite intent on securing that central victory point. Oh, Rifleman squad went down. Rifleman squad went down. That's definitely unfortunate right there for Leander. Though, thankfully, not his veterans. 3 Rifleman squads. He's still got 3 of those. And they are definitely some of the best chances he has actually getting back into this and winning it. Austrian, though, getting a bit cocksure of itself. Exposing its rear to the bazookas and taking quite a bit of damage. Entertaining nearby, tank destroyed nearby, but sticky bomb going off and destroyed engine. The Austrian, though, is still there. Bazookas sorted out. And then encountering the Ritterkreuzträger. The MD-42, oh, getting artillery called in on it again before the fatherland pops up. Artillery hammering down. Threatening to knock it out, but of course defensive doctrine does rather. Further fighting here, rather thinly held front. Bunker collapses, though this time he does save the MG crew in the nick of time. Instead of having it be entombed within the remains of the bunker, like last time. Another Ranger squad. Looks like Leander's just spamming Rangers. That perhaps is not a too sound strategy in the long run. In particular, as they immediately run into the MG-42. And end up taking quite a bit of fire from the nearby Grenadiers as well, with the BAR stolen from the cold, dead hands of Americans. Minus scrummaging away, the pioneers are definitely... Oh! Going down very quickly. Panzer Command... Not really doing much. But I mean, some alright usage of the doctrine by Army Farmer, though largely he's been relying on the reinforcement ability to a bit on for the Fatherland and a bit on the heavy rocket barrel. Slightly advancing up there. MG looks to have been, and looks like one desperate assault going in there from Army Farmer, launching all of his engines into one force. Crossing the open fields, making themselves though easy targets at the same time. Blitz assault going in. Grenadiers advancing. The Panzergrenadiers are nowhere nearby to be seen. Troops might get risky until he crushed beneath the jets of the very heavy tank destroyer. Panzergrenadiers connecting. Guns firing. Nasty stuff. Nasty stuff.
Enemy unit down.
And another unit went down, leaning behind a Panzergrenadier. Leander securing most of the victory points. So few units left, in fact, for Army Farmer. Again, the lack of proper panzers has rather hurt him. Plus, of course, the bits blowing up. Now he's losing his map control ever so slightly. And, of course, Leander's veterans, 3 riflemen, are simply so utterly devastating. And there's not much that Army Farmer can really do against them. Not without taking considerable casualties in the process, and of course then just trying to rely on Knight's Cross is not 100% foolproof either.
Krauts are grabbing our territory.
In fact, far from it.
Ready for the crowd. Major, take your new SMG.
Quickly moving in the Ritterkreuzträger. Actually going in there, forcing away those poor unfortunate devils. Suppressing a few riflemen. Other rangers pushing up there. And the Panzer was obtained by the Knight's Cross holders, but they will likely get pushed away by the severe force of the nearby American troops. And the Rangers charging in with the Thompson submachine guns, all one with the nearby MD-42. For the final is up, it might not be enough. In the face of all this automatic fire that Leander is simply unleashing upon army farmers' troops. And we're seeing a second Panther, but I think Panzer IVs work better. I mean, the real issue is not really that there's a lot of tanks that he desperately needs to deal with. It's infantry, and in that sense, the Panzer IV would probably be better suited. In particular, if he was to get veterans to free up on it, I mean that sort of resources again earlier spent on might overall have improved army farmer situation. In particular, getting the veterans free, Panzer IV would be absolutely menacing towards all this infantry that Leander has, but that is simply, sadly, not the case, or at least what's not happening. Of course, there's still one tank destroyer, but still more veterans. He would be good for the Panzers. And again, tragically not happening. And more artillery going in. Leander applying the final bit of pressure. Army farmers' forces have been absolutely decimated. Perhaps slightly squandered in some unfortunate engagements. Panther rolls forward, crushes a few Rangers. A sniper right now of all the things that army farmer could have done. He gets a sniper now. That's not good. Rangers making a direct run for the Panther. Of course, frankly, they won't have much of a chance better at getting up behind it. And there we go, actually trying to speeding things up a bit before more technical issues. And there we go, Panther went down. Like a toy Panzer. And there we go, GG. GG, well played from Leander. Nicely down there. Game over. Again, not high-level play, but not novice play either. Some good things going on from both players, but again, as the game progressed, there were some issues. Largely, they came in the department they forgot later on, which is definitely not so good. Could definitely been improved there. And again, the failure from Army Farmer to get veterans reverse tanks so much earlier really hurt him. And of course, the slightly initially suicidal assault here, which ultimately rather was wasted by when you could have simply just waited and called in the rocket barrage. I mean, those sort of things really did not help him. In fact, quite the opposite. So, bit of a nice fight, good early game, and then rather slowed down as then their sort of less skilled parts showed up. But overall, hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something from it. Again, my apologies for the technical difficulties, but there you go. If you enjoyed it, why not subscribe, tell your friends, share it. If you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own, provide some feedback in the comments. In fact, this feedback replay was provided by a fan, of course. There's always a chance you might end up here. Of course, there's also a good chance you might not. So, this is Imperial Dane.